Hello everyone, MFPallytime here, and welcome back to Diablo 3. It's been a while since we've said that, but this season in Diablo has piqued my interest for a couple of reasons. Now, normally in a Diablo season, there is one particular set piece that is far above superior than everything else, and thus you're kind of forced to use that set if you want to find success. But in this season of Diablo, while they didn't drastically change very many game mechanics, what they did was look at all of these set pieces for each of the classes and try to make each of them as competitive as the next. So if there's a particular build you like playing for a particular class, you should be able to play that and have relatively the same amount of success as you would with the best build in the game. So I decided I would jump into Diablo one more time, but this season we're playing on hardcore, and this is my first hardcore character that I've ever actually gotten to the level cap, and I'm currently sitting at Paragon 211. So we've invested, a small amount of time into the character, into the grand scheme of things, but things are starting to scale up quite well, and I wanted to walk you through my build and show you guys some incremental progress as we continue to level up and go further into greater rifts, or my character dies and we don't play anymore, because those are really the two options that we have here. So I'm using the Juliana's set. If you follow the Season's Journey, or it is called the Season's Journey, then this is the set that you're gonna get for Monk, which is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because this is my favorite set to play as a Monk. The gameplay comes down to just punching things and applying the explosive palm and then detonating that palm with seven-sided strike. It's an extremely fun way to play the game, and very, very satisfying once you get into it as well. The issue is that it requires so many offset pieces that it can be very, very difficult to get going. And because of that, I was motivated to kind of show you guys where I'm at and where you could expect to be with certain pieces of gear, just in case you want to play along at home. So for the Juliana set, we are using the full 6 pieces, no Ring of Royal Grandeur or anything like that. So that is gloves, shoulders, helm, chest, pants, and boots. And on each of these pieces, we're going for our, just normal ass stats, but trying to get as much cooldown reduction as humanly possible, because seven-sided strike on its own has a very long cooldown, and being able to use this often is kind of the backbone of what makes this build work. So we are currently sitting at, what are we sitting at? 52%. I believe we want this around 80%. I don't know if it can actually go that high, but that seems to be the number that's in my head. We currently have one of the weapons that we're actually going to be using. This is the Fists of Az-Tarask. I don't know if that's actually how you say that, but what this does is increase the exploding palm damage. And I'll show you a little bit how this works sooner or later. Basically, we're applying exploding palm just by attacking things with our generators. Seven-sided strike deals more damage with our 4-piece set, and then with our 6-piece set, every time we use seven-sided strike, it increases the damage of our exploding palm, and then makes the exploding palm blow up, even if we don't kill an enemy. Another really important piece of gear to keep all of this going is the Gundo Gear, is my favorite item in the game, I think, which causes exploding palms on death explosion to apply exploding palm. This means if you kill someone with exploding palm on them and they're next to someone else that doesn't have exploding palm on them, well, guess what? Now that guy that was previously undebuffed now has the debuff, and you can do a lot of damage. This can spread across the screen. It's amazing when it actually happens. And we're also using the Binding of the Lost, which allows our seven-sided strike to reduce the amount of damage that we are taking. Now, I was running this setup for quite some time with basically nothing in the cube, because I was waiting for my specific items I needed to really make this work. After a while, I did put in a furnace that dropped, which increases my damage to elites. And this went okay, but really the Flow of Eternity, reducing the cooldown of seven-sided strike by 60%, is such an important item, and I think one of the first items you should be really striving to get if you are going to proceed down this Juliana's path. In the cube as well, I have Aquila's Curious. I don't like it. I don't think I like it. So while we're above 90% of our primary resource, all damage taken is reduced by 50%. There's a few other items that do similar things in here that I think make more sense for the build. Oh, God, jeez, these names just don't get any easier. Left Brewery's Soliloquy is an option where we use Cyclone Strike, and then we have 50% less damage taken for the next 5 seconds. Again, a very similar effect to this, although it is on a duration and not on a resource requirement. And then another option we have, and the one I'm probably going to go for, is Bracers, which is our Spirit Guards. Your Spirit Generators reduce your damage taken by 60% for 3 seconds. This is an additional 10% on top of the 2 other pieces that we talked about. And of course, there's really not too many limitations on actually using your Spirit Generators. As far as the skills we're actually using, we are using Way of 100 Fists, or Way of the 100 Fists. I always thought it was 100. Wow, learned something new today. With assimilation, each enemy hit by the 3rd hit increases your damage by 5% for 5 seconds. After you hit an enemy, you'll see like a number on the icon here that lets you know how much of a buff you actually have. And that damage increase can be used to apply your Exploding Palm and increase the damage of your 7-sided strike at the same time. It's kind of a snapshot effect, which I learned more about recently. Our right click is 7-sided strike, and we are using the sustained attack rune because it reduces the cooldown of the ability by 14 seconds. And the more we can use this ability, the better off we're going to be, hence the setup that we're currently running. Also, we are using Dashing Strike with Quicksilver. This is just preference. You can also use the movement speed one or the one that gives you dodge, blinding speed, after you use Dashing Strike. All of those are good. Exploding Palm with Impending Doom. This is important after you have your Juliana's set completed. Prior to getting this, I was using Essence Burn, I was doing Strong Spirit, I was basically messing around with anything because at the end of the day, Exploding Palm is pretty good. But Impending Doom does the most damage, and you can detonate it like every 7 seconds with 7-sided strike, so it is extremely powerful and a great way to clear enemies. We are using Epiphany with Desert Shroud for the damage taken reduction. It's 50% while this is active, and our goal is to get enough cooldown reduction that we can basically have this up all the time. I think that's what we're trying to do. Mantra of Salvation with Agility is going to be increasing our toughness. If you're not playing hardcore, I would drop this for Cyclone Strike. Once I get more gear, I'm going to be dropping this for Cyclone Strike. But while we're in the process of leveling up, I am keeping that agility on there just for defenses. And then we have Harmony for the all resist. We have Mythic Rhythm. Every 3rd hit from your Spirit Generator increases the damage of your next damaging Spirit Spender. What is our Spirit Spender? 7-sided strike. What does that have direct synergy with? Way of 100 Fist Assimilation. We are using near-death experience, so we don't die. This is a cheat death every 60 seconds. And the Beacon of Yatar is being selected for the 20% cooldown reduction. Because again, we want to be able to do this as much as possible. As far as the gameplay goes, this is a Greater Rift 45. And, well, I feel like I'm clearing this pretty adequately for the time being. That's what it looks like when I decide I want to kill an elite pack. We could jump in there, deal a massive amount of damage, and then basically dash away to our heart's content. It's not the fastest build in the world for actually clearing things because you do have to wait for that cooldown. But when you decide it's time to press that button, well, there you go. Everything immediately is being killed. It has some of the best single target damage in the whole game, and Rift Guardians usually take mere moments to just be deleted from the screen. That being said, while you're still trying to accumulate the gear necessary for this build, it can be a little frustrating waiting for that 7-sided strike cooldown to actually be ready for use. And you'll notice we don't have any other Spirit Spenders on our bar, so most of the time we are finding ourselves just kind of running around in circles waiting for that to happen. By the way, cheat death just proc, so I'm gonna chill for a second. We found ourselves just kind of waiting for that to happen and not really doing much in the meantime, especially because with this setup I'm not running the Cyclone Strike to group things up because I want those extra defenses. As you can see, I kind of need them. we don't really have much to do in our downtime. We just kind of cruise around looking for more packs, looking for more enemies to fight, and that's really it. When you do find yourself approaching a particularly dangerous pack, having Epiphany off cooldown is very important. And it's okay to just chill and wait for that to come off and get ready. There's nothing wrong with that at all. One thing that hardcore has taught me is patience and really gauging the situation. Again, this is my first hardcore character that I've actually attempted to level. We do have a shield pylon here, so we should just be totally fine progressing through the rest of this, at least for a moment, but these levels are pretty weird and tiny, so not finding too many elite packs along the way. We have a power pylon here, but I'm actually not even going to use it because I want to show you just the sheer amount of damage we can actually do to single target. And to AoE packs as well, when you can actually clump them up like that, obviously. This isn't a pure single target build, but it's still, I think that's where it shines, because most builds in the game can clear rifts, right? Not every build in the game is good at killing bosses. We should get enough progress here to push it to the limit. Really, team? Really, you're gonna keep me at this 1%. Who'd we get? So, all we have to do is attack to apply the exploding palm and then right click. And then attack to apply the exploding palm and then right click. Basically, up until this point in the game, I've been able to kill off every single Rift Guardian with just a single right click. But we're starting to scale up to the point that we might need to change our gym setup. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, but the gym setup we're currently using is Bane of the Powerful, which we're just using because it was the first one I got and I leveled it up. We are also using Bane of the Trapped, which is increasing our damage by quite a bit, and Gogok of Swiftness, which is giving us increased cooldown reduction. These two are very important. However, Bane of the Powerful is more for just pure clear speed and not really for pushing difficulty in rifts at all. So I am working on leveling up a Bane of the Stricken, specifically for killing Rift Guardians faster and pushing content that maybe is a little bit more difficult. As always with the Juliano set and with hardcore in general, our main priority is surviving, and well, as you may have seen, my damage isn't suffering that much. So scaling this character up is going to be a little difficult. As of right now, we're just sitting over 500,000 HP, not much at all, but I am trying to get those stats up. And like I do every Diablo season that I play, I want to bring you guys along for the ride, show you incremental updates. Whoa, words are hard today. I have been streaming the game over on my Twitch channel as well, and it's been pretty chill. We've been listening to the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack while we play, which is always a fun time. I think these are probably better than the ones that I have. Again, I'm not going for pure damage right now. We're just focusing on survivability. So if I can roll that life regeneration into vitality, these are going to be pretty high toughness as well. So we'll probably go with those. But that's our update today. That's the Juliana set. I am working on some speed farming builds right now, just trying to get those last few pieces of gear that we need to kind of get that going in the right direction. Trying to build out the Sun Wukong set, which I don't quite have yet. But once we get that going, we should be in a perfectly fine spot. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Let me know if you want to see more Diablo content, and if you do, I'll see you all next time.